Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. Thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is a spooky screenings. I'm going to be talking about the brand new Stephen King adaptation, The Long Walk. In a dystopian version of America ruled by a totalitarian regime, thousands of teenage boys apply to participate in an annual event known as The Long Walk. 50 boys chosen at random are given water and rations and must walk without stopping along a present route while a squad of soldiers escorts them. Any walker who falls below 3 miles per hour for 10 seconds is given a verbal warning, but can lose it by maintaining speed for an hour. If a walker takes 3 warnings and falls below speed again, he is shot and killed by the soldiers. The walk ends when there is only one survivor left who receives a cash prize and can have one wish fulfilled. For the cast, you have Cooper Hoffman as Raymond Garrity, number 47, David Johnson as Peter McVries, number 23, Garrett Waring as Stebbins, number 38, Tut Nyott as Arthur Baker, number 6, Charlie Plummer as Gary Barkovich at number 5, Ben Wang as Hank Olson, number 46, Judy Greer as Ginny Garrity, and Mark Hamill as the Major. Screenplay was done by J.T. Molnar, and the movie was directed by Francis Lawrence. In 1988, George A. Romero was considered to direct the film adaptation, but it never came to fruition. By 2007, Frank Darabont had secured the rights to the film adaptation of the novel. He said that he would get it one day. He planned to make it low budget and stated, "It'll be weird, existential, and very contained." In April of 2018, New Line Cinema was set to adapt a film based on the novel, with James Vanderbilt attached to write and produce the film, along with Bradley Fisher and William Sherrick through their Mythology Entertainment banner. In May 2019, it was announced that Andre Overdahl would direct the adaptation. By November of 2023, the film was to be produced by Lionsgate Films, with Francis Lawrence directing from a screenplay by J.T. Molnar. On June 10th, 2024, Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson joined the cast. On taking the part of a young character who lost a father, like Hoffman had himself, Hoffman said, "When your trauma is on display for the world, there's no actually hiding it. I'm like, I might as well talk about it, or I might as well put it into something, because if I kept hiding it and running from it, that's not fair to anyone else who has gone through that. I'm here to display this person and this experience as honestly as I can, and hopefully someone else watches it and goes, he sees me, he understands me, and that's, in my opinion, the only reason to do any sort of art." While not the first of King's novels to be published, The Long Walk was the first novel he ever wrote, having begun it in 1966 through 1967 during his freshman year at the University of Maine, some 8 years before his first published novel, Carrie, was released in 1974. So I went and saw The Long Walk yesterday, today being September 15th. I saw it on Sunday the 14th. I went to a 7:45 showing of the film. Just some stuff going on in my life right now, and I didn't know if I was actually going to get out to see the film this past weekend, but I really wanted to. It has been one of my most anticipated films this year. I saw the trailer for it. I believe it premiered in early May. I remember seeing it, the first time seeing it in the movie theater was right before Final Destination Bloodlines, and I just thought this looked really, really interesting. I'm aware of the story. I'm aware of the Bachman books, being a Stephen King fan for as long as I have been. Unfortunately, it is not a book that I have read. I remember my late Aunt Joanne always told me to read the Bachman books because she thought they were some of the best Stephen King storytelling ever, and I regret that I never did that, but I am going to make up for that because I really want to read the book now that I have seen the movie. With regards to performances in this film, I have to say that Cooper Hoffman, who for the first time, I didn't realize he was Philip Seymour Hoffman's son when I saw the movie Saturday Night, which depicted the first live show of Saturday Night Live. My wife and I watched that on New Year's Eve, this past New Year's, and in that film he plays Dick Ebersol, and I was just like, why is this guy, there's just something about his mannerisms and just the way that he conducts himself that I was just really, really impressed with him. Everybody in that cast was brilliant, but I was just really transfixed by Cooper Hoffman. And then at the end, I remember when I get emotional when I loved Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was one of my favorite actors, and I was devastated when he died in 2014. I loved that man. Another great that is just, you know, that's gone, and just a big void has been left because of that. And when my wife and I saw Cooper's last name, we both almost started crying because we realized who he was, that he was Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. You know, and he's not just a carbon copy of his father, but he does have his father's presence. He's just a very charismatic young actor that I know we're going to see amazing things from, and his performance as Ray it stayed with me since I saw the film. I saw the film almost 24 hours ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. And David Johnson, I think that's how you say his last name, but I was blown away by him and Fede Alvarez's Alien Romulus as Andy. My favorite performance in that film, and I love that film so much. If people have seen my spooky screenings on it from last August of 2024. But his performance as Pete is another one that just, you just right away, these two men, when they show up at the beginning of the film, and there's another actress I want to talk about at the beginning of the film that just sort of sets the tone for this. Those two men, you're with them. They're the heart of this film. And there's also a lot of other great actors in this, but for me, these were the two that I was with. And just the camaraderie between them and some of the other people taking part in this long walk really, really set the stage early for what kind of film this was going to be. I knew this wasn't going to be a horror film. The elements of this film are very horrific, and I think Mark Hamill plays one of the most despicable characters I've ever seen in a Stephen King film. He's terrifying and cold and brutal. Just how he's always got his dark, oversized sunglasses on. You never see his eyes. Very, very chilling. And besides those three actors, Judy Greer blew me away in this. I don't know what's wrong with me. Right now, my family's going through a lot with just sort of coming to terms with my grandmother passing away on April 3rd of this year. And I'm really close to my mom. I'm an only child. And the relationship between Ray and his mother is established from frame one. You see that, and it's in little pieces of dialogue. It's not in very much. Judy Greer is kind of peppered throughout a couple of moments in this film. She doesn't have a huge part, but that relationship between Ray and his mother really got me. And there was a couple of times I had to hide the fact that I was getting emotional in the theater because it was packed. The theater was pretty packed. It was a small theater, but for a Sunday night at 7:45, I was shocked at how packed it was. But Judy Greer did a fantastic job, and her camaraderie with Cooper Hoffman just absolutely was stunning. I also was blown away by the fact that this was shot in chronological order, because you feel it. You know, these boys, when they first get to the lineup to start this whole process, you know, they're strangers, and throughout the course of this walk that they are doing, they grow to have this, you know, either a rivalry towards each other or an affinity for each other, and sort of, you know, almost like this common bond that permeates this bleak situation with hope. The fact that you have these friendships that form, you get to know these characters. I mean, you get to know these core characters, you get to know them, and it really makes, when things start to happen, when people start to lag and fall behind, and the inevitable starts to happen where some of them are getting picked off as they lag behind, or certain things happen with, you know, leg cramps, shoes, the soles of shoes coming off, people having to use the bathroom, because pretty much you can't stop. So even if you have to go to the bathroom, I mean, and they show it, and it's rough to watch. And when the violence does happen, it is not pretty, and it is very, very in your face, and very, very bleak, and very, very moving. There's a lot of moments in this film where I was holding back emotions. I do want to call out J.T. Molnar, who wrote the screenplay. He wrote and directed a movie called Strange Darling, which I've never talked about on this channel, but I watched it earlier this year for the first time. And because Kyle Gallner's in it, and I'm a huge fan of Kyle Gallner, and I was just absolutely blown away by that film. One of the best films I've ever seen recently, and he does a great job in this film of writing this film, and the dialogue is so fluid between these men, these young men that are marching to their deaths, and in an effort to make hopefully their lives and their families' lives better. Everybody in it is great, even some of the very small minor characters. And I also love the score. Jeremiah Freites, I think that's how you say it. He's part of the group The Lumineers. And I've always been a fan of them. My wife is a huge fan of the Lumineers, and she turned me on to them with the song Ophelia. And there was moments where I had some sort of callbacks to like some scores from Thomas Newman from other films that have been adapted from King's works, like The Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile. The film is not fun. It's not a film that I think a lot of people are going to watch over and over again, but it is one that I truly, truly do respect and love. It's one of my favorite films of 2025. And it's also something that I have to say that I'm grateful for, because I was getting really leery of them trying to remake so many of King's works. Last year, as everybody knows, I covered it extensively on this channel, and I did like the film. Was Gary Dauberman's remake of Salem's Lot. Now, say what you want about the film, I do wish we had the 3-hour cut of it. Hopefully one day we'll see it. I really enjoy that film. It's one of the remakes I wish wouldn't have happened in some regards, but in other regards, you know, I'm happy that it happened. It actually gave me a friend, Danielle Perry, who plays Marjorie Glick in that, is a friend of mine now. My friends Sam and Danny from Salem's Lot Minority. I know we've been kind of quiet this year. We actually interviewed her the week after the movie came out on HBO Max, and then it opened that same week overseas in Europe and Ireland. But she's a great person. I'm glad I have that friendship now. I also think Alexander Ward brought Barlow back from the dead, the Barlow that I missed and, you know, didn't care for the way that it was interpreted, even though it was closer to the book. And Kel Solomon's 2004 TNT miniseries with Rob Lowe and Rutger Hauer. I think he did a great job of playing this character that was established by the late, great Reggie Nelder. So I'm happy that that movie exists, but, you know, they've been doing so many, you know, like Pet Sematary and Carrie and The Stand. You know, I was tired of seeing the same King works done again and again. It was like I wanted to see something new, and we got something new. And not only did we get something new with The Long Walk, which is absolutely amazing, but we also got something new this year with Mike Flanagan's The Life of Chuck, which I didn't get a chance to talk about on this channel, but I did watch the film back on August the 5th. It's on streaming now, and I absolutely loved it. And it's another one of my favorite films of the year because it's different. It's a very different kind of film. Both of these films are not horror films. And of course, The Life of Chuck comes from the short story collection If It Bleeds, which also had Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which was a Netflix movie that came out in 2022 with the late Donald Sutherland, who I was never really a huge fan of, but I actually enjoyed that film quite a bit. And what's really exciting for me is that J.T. Molnar, who did the screenplay for this, is going to be directing the next adaptation, which is one of my favorite Stephen King books of all time, that came out in 1999, and that is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. And I'm so grateful that Molnar is going to be writing and directing this adaptation. This is one I've been waiting for decades, and I cannot wait to see what he does with this. It's a terrific book if you haven't read it, and I'm so happy that other things are being done, that we're not just going to remake Cujo and remake Christine and remake Carrie for the 100th time and Pet Sematary again. It's like the originals for me have always worked. Like I said, as much as I love the Salem's Lot remake, as much as I appreciated it, because I do think that heart went into that and true dedication from Gary Dauberman. He just got screwed by the studio. But I do appreciate the work that went into that, but nothing can touch the 79 miniseries, and nothing can touch Mary Lambert's 1989 Pet Sematary, and nothing can touch Brian De Palma's Carrie. So I'm glad that people are taking risks, because Stephen King has written so many amazing stories. I really am glad that it's time. I think it's long overdue that some of these King stories are finally getting made for the big screen, because we've seen these other ones before. So let's give us something new. So that makes me happy. I definitely recommend seeing The Long Walk. And I have to say that I think this film is really relevant, unfortunately, even more so now than it was when King wrote it back in the late 60s. And that's pretty sad. I mean, we've had a lot of tragedies in our country as of late, and it's all due to political climate, which started really heavily last year. this is something I knew kind of was going to happen based on what happened last year with the election. And it's depressed me. I've been depressed for a long time about it. But we're in it now. And this, like, you know, this climate of violence, I mean, I just found out because I was watching Drum Dum's video last week when I was coming back from a job that I was doing. I had to get some food. It was late at night. It was like almost 10 o'clock at night, and I'd stopped to get some food. I was just eating and watching Drum Dum's video. I'm probably going to butcher this poor woman's name, who was murdered on a light rail system in North Carolina. Her name was Irina Zarutska. I found out about that. I had no idea it happened. It happened back in August on the 22nd. After that, on the 27th of August, we had another school shooting, this being a Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school from 4th to 8th grade. And, you know, this one took place in Minnesota. And just last week, on Wednesday of last week, Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah, and on the same day you had the Evergreen High School shooting in Colorado. And I just don't understand things anymore. I don't know what's happened to our country, and it makes me very, very sad. And that's why I think this movie is even more relevant now, unfortunately. We're becoming numb to this, and we shouldn't be. And you know, I mean, how many school shootings are we going to have? We have so many school shootings every year. I remember when Columbine happened. I was in college at the time. I was actually riding the shuttle back to the train kind of subway in the Bay Area. It's called BART. I was at San Francisco State. I was a student. I was 25 years old, and I was riding the shuttle back to from school to the BART station. And the driver had it on the radio talking about the Columbine shooting. And that was, we didn't have things like that happen. It was shocking. It was scary. And I was older, but it was like, you know, this wasn't something that happened. Now they happen every week. Sometimes they'll happen a couple times a week. It's sad that this is becoming normalized and that divisions are being drawn and people are rejoicing at Charlie Kirk's passing. I didn't like the man. I think he said a lot of horrible things, and I don't care for the way that he treated people. But at the same time, I never wish death upon anybody, and so I'm not going to rejoice in anything like that. I don't know what's happened to us as human beings. I hope things get better someday. But yeah, so watching this film really got to me, really made me sad. But it's very eye-opening, and there's a lot of moments in this that I'm not going to spoil for people, but I think people should really, really go out and support it, watch it, because it does have a lot of parallels with what's going on here in the United States right now. So can't recommend the film enough. One of the best films of 2025. Fantastic cast, fantastic writing, directing, the music, everything was great in this film, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So thank you everyone for watching. Sorry I got a little emotional in a couple parts, but I really appreciate everyone checking out this Spooky Screenings, even though it's not really a horror film, on The Long Walk, an adaptation of Stephen King's novel. Let me know what you guys think. If you saw the film, let me know down in the comments section below. Would love to hear from everyone. And as always, thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always.